The diner breathed slowly, as if every table had its own quiet rhythm. A ceiling fan circled above, stirring the warm air that smelled of coffee, toast, and old conversations. Morning light spilled through the big window, painting rectangles of gold across the floor and the red vinyl booths. Charlie Green stepped inside. The small bell above the door chimed once and fell silent. He paused for a moment to take in the room. The faint sizzle from the kitchen, the scrape of cutlery, the whisper of a radio barely audible over the hum. 2 regulars sat at the counter, hunched over their mugs as if praying to them. A waitress refilled the sugar jars 1 grain at a time, her name tag cracked across the letter E, Elena. Charlie straightened his olive coat, worn smooth from years of service, and made his way to the booth by the window. He liked the light there, steady, honest, the kind that didn't lie about what it touched. His knees protested softly as he sat. He placed his cane beside him and rested both hands around the warm coffee mug Elena had brought without asking. He was early, as usual. Marcus always teased him for it. "You still think you're reporting for a 0600 briefing, don't you?" Charlie smiled at the memory. The smile stayed for a moment, then faded into the kind of stillness that only patience can teach. Outside, a bus sighed past. Inside, the diner exhaled in rhythm with the fan. Charlie reached into his coat and felt the corner of a folded photograph, Marcus at 12, drowning in his father's oversized jacket, grinning like sunlight caught in motion. On the back were 4 small words written in neat block letters, "Hold your ground. Do it kindly." Elena approached, pen behind her ear, eyes kind. "Morning, Mr. Green. You're early." "I'm practicing," he said. "Got an appointment." "Important?" He smiled. "My son." She returned the smile. "Then you're in good company. Coffee's on the house today." "Thank you," he said. "But don't make a habit of it. I might come too often." She laughed, moved away, and the diner resumed its quiet music. Charlie took a sip of coffee. It was strong, the kind that stayed with you. He liked that. It reminded him of long nights and cold air and promises made far away. The bell above the door rang again. A uniformed officer entered, tall, broad-shouldered, scanning the room like a man who measured peace by how still things were. His name tag read Reyes. His gaze landed briefly on Charlie's table, then swept toward the counter. Something in his walk spoke of duty, and maybe a touch of weariness. He approached Elena. "Morning. Got a call about a bag left by the window." Elena frowned. "Booth 3? That's Mr. Green's." Reyes nodded, professional but calm. "Mind if I check?" Charlie looked up as the officer approached. "Morning, son," he said lightly. "Can I help you?" "Sir," Reyes replied. "We had a report about an unattended bag near the window. Might just be routine, but I have to confirm." Charlie glanced at the small duffel tucked under his seat. He'd placed it there without thinking. "That'd be mine," he said. "Old habit, keep the walkway clear." Reyes exhaled softly, his stance easing. "Understood. Sorry for the interruption." "No harm done," Charlie said. "Would you like to check it?" Reyes hesitated. "If you don't mind." Charlie pulled the bag onto the table, unzipped it halfway, and turned it so the light reached inside. A neatly folded jacket, a battered notebook, a small set of tools wrapped in cloth. Things that belonged to someone who fixed what others forgot. On top of them lay the photograph. Its corner showed Marcus's smile, bright, fearless. "Looks like you come prepared," Reyes said, half grinning. "I try," Charlie said. "You never know when the world needs a little repair." The words landed gently. Reyes's expression shifted, less guarded, more human. He nodded. "You'd be surprised how often that's true." Just then, the bell rang again. A man entered, tall, confident, wearing a dark police captain's uniform. Marcus Green. The resemblance was subtle but undeniable, the same quiet authority, the same careful way of scanning a room. "Dad," Marcus said, relief threading through his tone. "Sorry I'm late." "You're right on time," Charlie said. "Your officer here was just checking my bag. Doing his job." Reyes straightened. "Captain Green," he said, caught off guard. "Didn't realize." Marcus raised a hand. "That's fine. You followed procedure." "Thank you." Reyes nodded, still slightly tense. "All clear, sir." Marcus turned to his father. "You all right?" "Perfectly fine," Charlie said. "It's good to see someone doing their work with respect. That's rarer than people think." Reyes blinked, unsure whether it was praise or lesson. "Maybe both." He gave a small nod and stepped back toward the counter. Marcus sat across from his father. The air softened. Elena brought another coffee, set it down quietly, and slipped away. "You look tired," Charlie said. "It's the job," Marcus replied. "Paperwork, reports, the endless noise. Sometimes I miss quiet rooms like this." Charlie smiled. "Quiet isn't the absence of sound. It's the presence of peace. You can find it anywhere, if you're willing to stop long enough." Marcus leaned back, taking in his father's words. He looked around the diner, the slow rhythm, the sunlight, the ordinary beauty of people minding their own lives. For a moment, he envied it. "Dad," he said. "Do you ever regret leaving the service?" Charlie stirred his coffee thoughtfully. "Regret?" He shook his head. "No. You don't regret what shaped you. But sometimes, I do miss the clarity. Back then, right and wrong were easier to see. These days, people wear both on the same face." Marcus nodded slowly. "I feel that every day." Charlie reached across the table, resting his hand over Marcus's. "That's why your work matters. Not because you carry authority. Because you carry choice." Before Marcus could reply, Reyes returned. His face carried an uncertain weight. "Sir. I just wanted to apologize, not for the check, but for how I walked in. I brought tension with me. You didn't deserve that." Charlie studied him for a moment, then smiled softly. "Son, dignity isn't fragile. It survives things much heavier than worry. You did what you thought was right, and you corrected it when you saw more clearly. That's all a man can do." Reyes nodded, visibly moved. "Thank you, sir." Marcus looked at him. "We could use more of that at the station." "The humility part." Reyes smiled faintly. "Working on it." He left soon after. The bell chimed again, and the sound lingered like forgiveness. Marcus watched his father quietly. "You handled that perfectly." "I just treated him like I'd want to be treated," Charlie said. "It's simple, people make it complicated." Elena brought their food, eggs, toast, potatoes. "Same order, different years," she said warmly. "Guess it runs in the family." They laughed. For a while, the conversation drifted between memories and silence, the kind of silence that says more than words. Marcus talked about new officers, community projects, a school partnership he was helping start. Charlie listened, occasionally nodding, eyes kind but sharp, the eyes of someone who's learned that listening fixes more than talking ever could. When the plates were cleared, Marcus checked his watch reluctantly. "I should get back. Reports won't file themselves." "You've got time," Charlie said. "Time's only scarce when you give it away." Marcus smiled, stood, and placed money under his cup. "Dinner tonight?" Charlie nodded. "Porch. Sunset. Bring the good tea." Marcus's grin widened. Deal. He gave his father's shoulder a gentle squeeze before heading for the door. Charlie stayed, finishing the last of his coffee. The diner slowly emptied until it was just him and the hum of the fan. He gathered his tools, folded the cloth carefully, and noticed Elena watching him from the counter. "That cabinet in the corner still squeaks," she said. Charlie chuckled. "I'll take a look." He tightened a few screws, wiped the hinge clean, and stepped back. The door swung smoothly now, no complaint, no sigh. Elena clapped softly. "You fixed it." "Sometimes things just need a little attention," he said. "So do people." Outside, the day stretched wide and bright. Charlie walked slowly down the sidewalk, cane tapping in rhythm with his heartbeat. The city hummed around him, cars, laughter, a dog barking somewhere. Ordinary life, and yet it felt sacred. Later, Marcus arrived at the porch just as the sun began to settle behind the trees. The wooden steps creaked softly under his weight, not a protest, just a greeting. Charlie was already there, tea steeping in 2 mugs, the photograph resting on the table between them. "You came," Charlie said. "I wouldn't miss it," Marcus replied, sitting beside him. "Needed some air that isn't recycled through paperwork." They sat in silence for a while, watching the light turn honey gold. A breeze played with the leaves, and the old house seemed to breathe along with them. "Dad," Marcus said quietly, "I think about you a lot at work. The way you handled that officer today. I don't know if I could have been that calm." Charlie smiled. "It wasn't calm. It was choice. Dignity isn't given, it's practiced. Every day. Especially when someone tests it." Marcus nodded slowly. "You make it sound easy." "It isn't," Charlie said. "But it's worth it." They drank their tea. The street glowed in the last light. Somewhere, a neighbor's radio played an old tune that sounded like home. "Before you go," Charlie said, picking up the photograph. He turned it over, reading the words on the back. "Hold your ground. Do it kindly. That's all I ever wanted you to remember." Marcus looked at him, eyes glinting. "That's the best advice anyone's ever given me." "It's the only advice I ever needed," Charlie said softly. The evening deepened. The porch light flickered on, moths circling its glow. Father and son sat quietly, not because there was nothing left to say, but because everything had already been said in how they'd lived. Marcus stood after a while, smiling. "See you tomorrow?" Charlie nodded. "Tomorrow. And every tomorrow after that." Marcus walked down the steps and turned once more toward the house. The light behind his father framed him like a promise. Charlie raised his hand. The gesture was small, steady, full of love that didn't need words. The night settled gently around them. Somewhere in the distance, a hinge creaked, then went quiet, as if the world itself had just been repaired.